You ever notice how everyone's got this big, serious act going on? Like we're all extras in some grand production called life. And nobody told us we didn't actually have to audition. You wake up, you put on your costume. Some people call it clothes, but it's really a uniform for the role you're playing that day. Maybe it's responsible adult, maybe it's concerned parent, or my favorite, productive member of society. Yeah, that one always kills me. Because if you look around, half the time nobody's really producing anything except stress, bad coffee, and paperwork. We walk out into the world like it's opening night, pretending we know our lines, trying not to trip over the scenery. You get in your car. That's your little stage on wheels. You drive to your other stage, called an office. You stand by the water cooler, performing your small talk scenes with your co-stars. Hey, how was your weekend? Oh, just great. We went to that new place downtown. Nobody cares, but the script says you have to say it. You ever try going off script? Watch the confusion in their eyes. It's like you just broke the fourth wall of reality. Wait, you're not supposed to say that. See, the whole thing runs on these unspoken rules, this massive social rehearsal that started way before any of us got here. We didn't write it, but we sure as hell play along. The government hands out a script, the schools make you memorize it, and your boss directs you through it like a bad soap opera. The dialogue's been the same for generations. Go to school, get a job, buy stuff, get married, buy more stuff, pretend you're happy, and then die quietly. Hopefully not during a commercial break, and people buy it. Oh, they love the show. They polish their lines, rehearse their smiles, and pretend the story makes sense. You see it in the way folks talk about success. Success is the number one costume people wear. Look at me. I've got a shiny car, a mortgage, and an ulcer. I must be doing great. Meanwhile, they're just another actor, trying not to forget the next line. The truth is, most people are just scared that if they stop pretending for 1 second, someone will find out they don't really know what the hell's going on either. You go to work meetings, and everybody's got that serious, thoughtful look, nodding at PowerPoint slides like they're decoding the mysteries of the universe. Good point, Dave. No, Dave didn't make a good point. Dave just repeated the same nonsense we heard last week, but he said it with confidence. And that's what matters in this show. Confidence is costume number 2. If you wear it well, no one notices you're lost. And oh, let's not forget the grand stage of politics. That's the high budget production, folks. The special effects are amazing. The dialogue is terrible. And somehow the audience still believes it's real. They switch actors every few years, but the plot never changes. It's always, "What care about you?" followed by, "Oops, we accidentally spent all your money. You ever notice that? They give these big speeches full of hope and change. And by the end, all you've got left is the receipt. It's like buying popcorn at a theater. Overpriced and disappointing. But you still do it because it's tradition. And media, now that's the orchestra pit. They keep the music playing so you don't start asking too many questions. They tell you who to like, who to hate, what to buy, and when to panic. The news anchors, they're not reporters. They're narrators in the world's longest reality show. They don't say, here's what's happening. They say, here's how to feel about what's happening. Big difference. You turn on the TV and everyone's performing outrage, concern, or inspiration. No one's being anything. They're just acting the emotions society tells them to display. Even religion's got its costumes. Some folks dress up on Sunday like they're going to meet the big producer himself. They sing, they kneel, they recite lines written centuries ago. You all hoping they get a call back for eternity. And hey, maybe they will. I'm not saying there's no faith. I'm saying most people don't even question whose lines they're reading. It's like joining a play that's been running since the dawn of civilization, and nobody remembers who wrote the script. And in the middle of all this, we've got social expectations, that giant invisible director shouting, action every morning. You got to smile at strangers even when you feel like garbage. You got to act polite when someone cuts you off in line. You got to laugh at your boss's joke even if it's been dead since 1972. Why? Because that's what the scene calls for. You're a professional actor in this social circus, and you can't break character. Breaking character makes people uncomfortable. You ever try just being brutally honest in public? Watch the panic spread like a fire drill. People can't handle unscripted dialogue. And what's funny, and I mean really funny, is that we know it's all an act. Deep down, we know we're pretending. That's why everyone's exhausted all the time. You spend your life playing 10 different roles. Worker, friend, lover, citizen, customer, voter. And by the end of the day, you can't remember who you actually are without the props. You go home, sit on the couch, and try to relax. But even then, you're watching another show where people pretend to be other people pretending to be real. It's performance stacked on performance, like a psychological lasagna. And here's the kicker. The few folks who don't play along, the ones who stop acting, they're labeled weird, difficult, rebellious. Society doesn't like when someone walks off stage. It throws off the whole production. Because if one person quits pretending, others might start wondering why they're still reading from a script that doesn't even make sense anymore. That's dangerous. Not to you, but to the system that needs you to keep playing your part. But once you start seeing the show for what it is, Once you realize the props are fake, the lines are recycled, and the applause doesn't mean anything, something incredible happens. You stop caring about the performance. You stop auditioning for approval. You start living in the pauses, the in between moments where you're not someone trying to be something. And that, my friends, is the closest thing to being real this world's got to offer. Because when the curtain finally drops, and it will, no matter how good your act was, nobody's handing out awards. There's no encore. There's just the question of whether you ever stop acting long enough to actually live. You ever notice how people can't handle the truth unless it's wrapped in a joke? Oh, they'll sit there laughing, clapping, slapping their knees like seals. But the second you say something real without a punchline, oh no, now you're being negative. That's the thing about comedy. It's the only way you can sneak the truth past people's defenses. It's like a Trojan horse made out of laughter. You make him laugh first, then, while they're catching their breath, boom, you hit them with a little truth. It slides right in before they realize they've just been insulted by common sense. People walk around wearing these emotional masks, you know. They got one for every occasion. There's the I'm doing great mask, the I totally care about this conversation mask, and the all-time favorite, the I'm a good person mask. Everybody's got a drawer full of them at home, lined up and ready for the next social performance. You can almost hear it in the morning routine. K's, wallet, mask of decency. Okay, I'm ready for society. Now, when you're up here on stage, you get to point that out. You get to pull the masks off, not just theirs, but your own too. Because let's face it, we've all been part of the masquerade. You can't live in this world and not play along a little. But comedy, real comedy, is the one place where you get to admit it. You get to say, hey, this is all fake, folks. We're all pretending here. And people love it. They love it because deep down, they're tired of pretending too. But here's the funny thing. People don't want you to say the truth directly. No, that's too much. They want it sugar-coated, deep-fried, and served with a side of sarcasm. You say something honest, something raw, and they look at you like you farted in church. But put it in a joke, and suddenly you're a genius. Oh, he's so insightful. No, I'm not insightful. I'm just saying what you already know, but are too polite to admit. Comedy is just honesty wearing a clown nose. You know what louder really is? It's a release valve. It's the body's way of saying, okay, that's true, but I can't cry right now, so I'll laugh instead. You tell people the world's a mess, they laugh. You tell them they're the reason it's a mess, they laugh harder, because if they stop laughing, they might actually have to change something. Comedy keeps everyone from jumping off the deep end of self-awareness. It's the pressure relief system for the human ego. And the best part is, comedy doesn't need to be polite. It's not supposed to fit in with society's little etiquette rules. You ever notice how people get offended by jokes that hit a little too close to home? That's how you know it's working. A good joke doesn't make you comfortable. It makes you squirm a little. It pokes that spot under your ribs where you hide your fears, your hypocrisies, your half-baked beliefs. You laugh because the truth stings, and that sting feels good for a second. It's cleansing, like disinfecting your soul with humor. We've built this world where everyone's performing niceness. It's like a national pastime, being fake and calling it manners. Don't say that, it might offend someone. Well, maybe it should. Maybe people need a little offense to wake up from the polite coma they've been living in. Because when you're too busy trying not to offend anyone, you end up saying nothing at all. Comedy doesn't apologize for the truth. It celebrates it. It dances around it, exaggerates it, but it never hides it. And here's the thing. Laughter creates this weird moment of honesty between strangers. For a few seconds, everyone's on the same wavelength. Nobody's pretending to be smarter or richer or better than anyone else. In that moment, you're all just human beings sharing a ridiculous truth. You could have a banker, a janitor, and a priest sitting next to each other, and if the joke's good enough, they all laugh the same. Comedy levels the playing field. It's the only place where people from every walk of life can drop the act and admit they're all a little full of it. You ever notice how people laugh the hardest at the stuff they're guilty of? Oh, yeah. You make a joke about people wasting time, and the guy scrolling through his phone is the first one to double over. That's the magic of it. Laughter is confession without the paperwork. You don't have to admit anything out loud. The laugh does it for you. Yeah, that's totally me. Yeah, we know. That's why comedy's dangerous. Not dangerous like a weapon. Dangerous because it tells the truth in a world that's terrified of it. You can't control laughter. You can't censor what someone finds funny. When people laugh, they're free. Just for a second from all the roles they've been playing. You can't fake a real laugh. It's honest. It's the body's way of saying, you got me. That's why power never likes comedians too much. You can't lie to people when they're laughing at you. And the masks people wear when they try to act like they're moral authorities. You ever see someone pretending to be offended for everyone else? I can't believe you said that. What about the children? What about the kids are laughing. It's the adults who forgot how. They're too busy performing outrage, rehearsing their indignation, making sure they look properly offended in case anyone's watching. That's not morality, that's acting. That's emotional theater. Comedy pulls the curtain back on that nonsense. It shows that most of our outrage is just ego in disguise. People trying to win the I care more than you Olympics. But when you shine a funny light on it, you see it for what it is. Another costume, another role, another way of pretending to be better than you are. And when you see that, you can laugh at it. Not cruelly, but honestly. Because the only way to strip off those masks is to stop taking yourself so seriously. And that's what laughter does. It's humility in motion. It's saying, yeah, I'm a fool too. The second you can laugh at yourself, the game changes. You're no longer part of the act. You're watching the play from the audience. You're in on the joke. And that's real power. Not the kind that controls others. The kind that frees you from needing to pretend anymore. Because underneath all the layers of performance and pretense, that's what we really crave. To be real. To be seen without the costume, to stop auditioning for approval. Comedy, when it's honest, gives you that rare taste of authenticity. It doesn't fix the world, but it sure helps you survive it without going insane. It's a mirror that doesn't lie, but it also doesn't judge. It just says, look at this beautiful mess we've made together. And the best part, once you start laughing at the masks, they stop fitting so well. You can't go back to pretending after you've seen the strings holding the show together. That's the quiet revolution of comedy. It doesn't demand change. It just makes you aware. And once you're aware, you can't unsee it.